Welcome to another session in how to build furniture in Fusion. As warm-up, let's create a simple stool. I'm going to switch everything to inches, and I'm going to introduce you to the Revolve command. So with the stool, which think about like a cylindrical object, all I need is a side sketch. So I go either to front or right, which one doesn't really matter. Click sketch, click on this plane, and I have to change my zoom a little bit. So now I see this is 15 inches, and I click here, click up, and then say 17 inches. Let's say that's the height of the stool. Okay, and click to the grid. So this line is 17 inches. Drag it out, and I also constrained it to be vertical. Now the base, for example, I would like to be 19 inches wide. So I could click and then go to the side and type in 19 divided by 2. Enter and click, click. Whoops, did it twice, I guess. And there you see now this is 9.5 inches. That is too much. That's not right. Okay, one more time. We click, go to the side and say 19 inches divided by 2. Let's see what it does. Press enter and click. Oh yeah. Of course. Oh, I'm kind of silly. 19 divided by 2 is 9.5. So Fusion was right all the time. I simply was wrong. Let's say the top should be 17 inches wide. So here I could go ahead and click 17 by 2, press enter and click, and see if I go straight down. Go to there, I can click, and I'm good. So I can click stop, go to my 3D view, and now there's my 3D sketch. Now to get a first look, let's go to Revolve, click this one. So that's for the profile. So this profile I would like to revolve. I also need an axis. For example, I click on this edge of my sketch. And there, now you see, we have a nice stool. Let's say I would like to round the top edge a little bit. So let's say that's covered with upholstery, maybe by 2 inches radius. Okay. That looks pretty nice. Now let's say at this point I would like the top just to be made out of an upholstered foam material and the bottom part be wood. So in my timeline, maybe I go back to the fillet. See, I moved it. So the fillet is gone. So you see it this way, you can go forward and backwards in time. And then I go to the sketch, show me the sketch, also show me the dimensions so I can see actually those lines. This is really very helpful when, for example, you would say, nah, make this one 18 inches. No, too long. Back to 17 inches. See, really easy. And that actually drives your 3D geometry. I would like to split this solid somewhere around here. So I go to Sketch, Edit, Make a Line. And I'm simply clicking a line, and then you see I drag it to the right till it hits it. You see there's an X, so it intersects. Let me do this one more time. I click, and you see when I drag it out perpendicular, I get a perpendicular constraint in the left to my mouse. And then I can just, actually I could even drag it to there if I want to. The sketch doesn't have to be inside the line. And you see, with this line drawn, it actually creates this interesting intersection. If I move this one back, let's say to there, you see it's just one object. So the sketch engine is pretty smart that actually it understands the areas are now divided. I would like this distance to be dimensioned. So I click, shift left mouse button click on these two lines and say sketch dimension, drag it out. And then, for example, I type in 3 inches. So the proper way, or the fastest way to make an offset to this line is simply draw yourself a line. This is horizontal, so I could easily draw it horizontal. And then plug in a dimension. And then you can specify the height. Let's click Stop Sketch. And now I have to change this one. So I can click right mouse button, Edit, deselect the profiles and say just this one. Okay. You see it only created that part. Here comes now the tricky one. I'm going to add another revolve. Click this one. So the top part. Click this as the axis. And you see there's no line. Because the operation, how I revolve this one, says join it to the other object we did. And all I want is just a new object, a new body. So you see, there it is. Click OK. Perfect. Now again, the awesomeness of the sketch engine, 4 inches, zip. We see we changed the sketch, that changed the first revolve, that changed the second revolve. How awesome is that? Now I moved my cursor far to the right. Now this fillet bugs out. It says it's red. And that makes sense because we first built this whole piece, then we selected this edge and said round it. And then I went back into cutting this one apart into 2 parts. So I don't have to delete this one. I can simply say Edit, right mouse button. And then for the edge to round, simply select the one, 2 inches. And there we are. That isn't too difficult. And 3. Good. So let's say this is all upholstery and this is wood. So these parts are not razor sharp edged. So I'm going to select this one and say fillet this rounded part, maybe by 0.25 inch, let's say. I'm making this a little bit bigger, so simply you can see the difference. And then I go to my wood part and say also here fillet you and you, maybe 0.1 fillet. So just slightly round. Okay, that wasn't too difficult. Now, if I would give this one to somebody to build, they would see this is a huge piece of material, which we can core out. So, what I can do is simply, maybe this one. I move my cursor back to here before I have all these round edges. And I go to shell and say, shell me this one, maybe by 2 inches. Oops, too much. Let's say 1 inch. That's fine. Okay, so why did I do that? Let me show you what we have when I go to section view and click this plane there. There you see the flatter lower part. We started, think about like an apple, and you take a spoon and you carve stuff out. So actually I simply hollowed it out. But it's all actually one piece. In case this, for example, should be a wood construction, so we have rounded cylinder and a wood plate on top. Obviously, that doesn't necessarily work. For preview, this is okay. So now we're going to delete this one. And let's go back to the first sketch. And for example, now what I'm going to do here is the following. I'm going to draw myself another line there. Then I'm going to press escape, select these two lines, and simply say dimension and 1 inch. Okay. Now I would like to have a line that's parallel to this one at an angle. So let's see how we can do that. So you see, nope, nothing is really working here. So maybe I just create a line. Say if I go to offset, look at that. That works. See? So this one I can offset. And you see if you go to offset and click this one, it would select everything, not what we want. So deselect and deselect loop. Just select this line and then bring it over 1 inch. Perfect. And you see actually this line and this line, they actually have this parallel tangent or constraint. So in theory, if I'm going to draw a line like this and go to constraint and then say parallel this one to this one, there it is. See, they're parallel. Now this one, okay, I can move around and you see it's parallel. I cannot change and rotate it anymore, but I can snap this one to there, snap this one to there. Actually I can snap this one, oops, I have to delete this one first before I can do it, just to there. This one I delete. So what I'm going to do is simply select this one and this one, sketch dimension, and make this 1 inch. Zip. Perfect. Stop. And now this one has to be updated. So we can say edit, remove that one, and say, well, give me this top plate. Okay, now everything is kind of messed up here. Oh, this one is just hidden. No problem. So I go time-wise back to there, and I'm going to add another revolve and say this one, and axis is that one. Please make myself a new object. Perfect. Zip. There we are. Let's go over to there. Now those fillets again are being cranky. So maybe let's delete that one. Nope, not edit, just delete there. So that's that one, that one. Okay, let's hide this object. And the main reason why I wanted to hide it is I'm going to fillet, drag over everything I have. You see it selects all those edges. In here, maybe now at once I type in 0.1. Okay, and then I can show this object again, hide the sketch, and take a look what we have. Now currently those mesh lines can be a little bit annoying. So let's go to visual style and select just shade without visible edges. Zip, they're gone. And then, for example, we can see, oh, maybe those fillets we created are a little bit too big. So go to the last fillet. We can actually rename this one. So for example, round wood, and enter. So I know what this command is actually doing. It's rounding all the wood parts. Plus, if I click on it, you also see the surface it creates. So right click, edit, 0.05. Okay, third time, 0.05. Whoops, there, enter. Yep, that looks a little bit better. Now maybe all this looks good, but up here, maybe this fillet is too big. So you see when I click that surface, this fillet is being marked. So here I can go and edit and say 0.1, push it down a little bit more. Yeah, see, it slowly gets into shape. Okay, let's throw in some names, maybe padding, spelled correctly, of course. And what's that one? That is base. And maybe let's call this one plate. I do not have any metal hardware, etc. Just, for example, a simple geometry that might define the wood parts. And then right mouse button, appearance, wood, unfinished. Let's make this one out of oak. And the padding, of course, should not be metal because that would be pretty hard to sit on. Let's see what we have. What do we have with leather, actually? What about this one? Let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah. Let's maybe keep it that way. Doesn't look too bad. Well, maybe this one actually should not be wood. Maybe it is metal. Let's say a metal part. Let's put a metal ring on it. So I can use the materials to give visually a little bit more of clarity to my design and functionality wise. So somebody who sees it has it easier to read what I'm doing here. Okay, and that was basically everything to build a really basic shell out of, let's say, bent plywood. Now currently that this has to be cut into two halves to make the mold, but I'm skipping that part right now. We have a midsection and an upholstery. And of course the upholstery has a wood core and the upholstered foam and the fabric all over it. But I would like for the moment just simply leave it at this, since you never had a course in how to build furniture actually by hand. But if you would give this, for example, to somebody, like a carpenter or a craftsperson, they will be able to understand then how to start building this one. And that's the reason why I will stop here. And then in the next video, we will go and take a look more at a chair that has extruded pipe legs and a bent plywood shell.